Hi, welcome. My name is Antoinette, and I'm here to present a wonderful winemaker from Dobruja in Romania, Paul Fulea, who represents and works with and is the winemaker for Crama Histria. These wines are incredible. We carry them at the store. They are in a variety of different representations from white, rosé, and red. And Paul works with indigenous yeasts and also international varieties as well as indigenous varieties. Paul, since we're here to hear from you and not from me, let's jump right in. Tell us how you've been. I assume you've been a little bit busy with harvest knocking at your door.
Hi, Antoinette. Thank you so much for inviting me over. And yes, it's quite a busy period. It's the most beautiful period of the year during the harvest. And you talked about indigenous yeast or wild yeast, as I prefer to call it. Yes, I'm quite in love with wild yeast because it's from my point of view, it's the best way to take out the real expression of the grape without influencing from specialized yeast. So I'm right now from this harvest. Actually, I will make only wild yeast wines.
And
I used to follow different protocols for some of them my wines with the specialized yeast, but right now I'm only using wild yeast, and it's going to be a very interesting year going so deep inside the wild yeast.
let's talk about that for a second, because it sounds like it's a commitment to do indigenous yeast fermentation or wild yeast fermentation solely and not depend on commercially cultured yeasts. And there is a difference between the two. Could you highlight for us what that means as a winemaker? What are the positive aspects of choosing to use wild yeast, and perhaps touch on what are the risks of doing so as well?
So the main advantage that I see is that you can get the expression, the best expression of your terroir, right? So it solely depends on how good are you in the vineyard. Because if you have a healthy grape, yeah, you're gonna get the best aroma, the best sensation, the best taste of the wine that you can get there in that vineyard. So you have to have very healthy grapes, and you have to have a good soil, a good position of the vineyard, and to try to maximize this terroir, as we call it. And I don't believe that your audience need to be fully in detail about what terroir means. Yes. So that's the main advantage. The other advantages are when we are talking about aromas, that they are more delicate. They don't go into commercial yeast part of aroma very sometimes some aggressive aromas, right? So they are more delicate. One of the risks being so delicate that people do not recognize the type of grape, or they do not understand your wines. So let's say that I'm making wines for geeks more, yeah, for wine geeks. But I do like to be, in a way, apart from the commercial part of the wine, and the most beautiful part of the wine that you can make from the same grape different type of wines, and in each year you get different types of wines. So we're not beer producers, we are wine producers, and that's say everything actually.
it is amazing how much yeast plays a role in winemaking to emphasize certain attributes of the wine.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so you are using international varieties as well as a few.
Yes.
Yes. Would you like to tell
Yes.
us about what you're using and why you've chosen to use those grapes in particular?
So from international varieties, I'm using Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon on reds, and this year we will produce Shiraz for rosé, maybe in a blend. But we're trying to get some Shiraz with wild yeast to see what we're getting. On the whites, I'm playing with Sauvignon Blanc. I'm playing a lot with Sauvignon Blanc. I like that grape. Also Chardonnay. Actually, it's my first year with Chardonnay at least. It's gonna be very interesting. Yeah. and I started to play with Chardonnay, and actually I used three types of winemaking. I mean, skin maceration, pressing on the grape, pressing the whole grape, and just a small maceration of 6 to 12 hours. And I'm gonna get from the same grape three types of wines, and three types of making the wine. I'm very curious how they will end. I'm particularly pleased with the one with skin maceration, longer skin maceration. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. Yes, and Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, maybe some Riesling, Rhine Riesling, actually. And on the part of indigenous grapes, I'm already used Fetasca Negra and Fetasca Regale. So Fetasca Negra on the red and rosé, and Fetasca Regale on the white.
I'm just quickly scribbling notes here to make sure that I have all of the different wines that you're making. You're obviously a very busy man during harvest with all these different varietals and different styles that you're making. Let's talk a little bit about your interest in the skin contact wine style. What is it about macerating white grapes on skin that is interesting to you? And what are you looking to get out of that wine style?
Oh, I try not to get the super fresh, easy to drink wine. I do like the type of wine that go well with food. The wines that need pairing in order to maximize their aromas. So I did a Sauvignon Blanc with skin contact for 18 days. Another one with skin contact for 7 days. And right now, I told you about the Chardonnay, and I'm looking forward to get to harvest the Sauvignon Blanc and make another skin maceration of 10 to 14 days. As long as the grape is very healthy, I believe that is gonna help to get different aromas from that grape.
So you have healthy grapes, you have wild yeasts, and how do you get healthy grapes? Tell us the secret that every viticulturist out there wants to know.
Now, we in Romania we have, and I know all around the world, there are very good viticultures, very good engineers that work in the field, and I believe it's a bit of luck and a lot of science to get a healthy grape. More than this, my philosophy is that if you want to put the soul of the grape inside your bottle, firstly you have to put your soul inside the vineyard. So it's a trade, you know. give your soul to get the soul from the grape. That's the secret.
So are your grapes all estate grown, or are you also purchasing fruit?
I'm purchasing Fatasca right now because it is a old vineyard planted in 1983, and I do like that vineyard with small harvest and taking good care of. Of course, that I visit the vineyard regularly to make sure that the grape are healthy and everything is all right. But I do like that vineyard, and I take that grape. The others are made by me in a way or another. Yes, so supervised, visited, actually made, and so on. But it's on the premises.
Right, very good. As a general review, what was the Romanian, since you're one of the vineyards you're sourcing from was planted in the 1980s, what was the Romanian wine industry like in the 1980s? And where do you see it going, in the next 10 or 15 years, or where would you like it to go?
So 1980s was only how big your harvest is. So you need a lot of tons per hectare. My parents worked in the vineyard when I was little, and all they knew was how big is your harvest. Yeah, they need to get I don't know 12 to 18 tons per hectare for Merlot, for example. And at 18 tons per hectare for Merlot, you don't get a good wine out of it. That was 1980s. Since 2005, 2006, things started to change, and because we had access to European funds, a lot of new vineyards and a lot of new wineries appeared. Mine also, and we're striving for quality, for innovation, low harvests, mm, trying to get new expression of the wine, trying to make crazy things just to shut out that Romania is making quality wine right now. And now I can say that there is no wine in Romania that do not give great wines. So the quality has increased tremendously, and of course we are still to go. But I do believe that the most important thing, we have to invest in marketing in order so the wide world know about us. Because on the quality part, we're starting to do a good job.
And for the future, just more
For the future, yeah, focus on quality, stay focused on quality, and focus also on global marketing.
Absolutely. The beauty about the wines from that we've experienced, not only from your incredible vineyard, but also from Romania as a whole, is that you're absolutely right. We have not had a bad one yet, and it's quite remarkable what's coming out of the country. Yeah.
You know, bad wines happen to everyone, right? Because it's just even if you're very cautious and you try to do your best, sometimes just fail, you know. And that was one of the biggest risks on wild yeast, because you do not know where the yeast is going, and you need to be very careful. We check the wines twice a day, 3 times per day to see how is it going, and be very careful with the temperature, be careful with the aromas and so on. But nevertheless, you may fail one wine. The most important thing, that wine shouldn't be in the bottle. No. And you have to understand the wine, and even if you treat it like your own child, I mean, it's your wine, to be objective and say this one, no.
And those
If we are doing that, we can avoid sending you bad wine, right?
exactly. We're very fortunate because the importer Armand does I think an excellent job of filtering out what he really thinks what wines would do really well in the market, and he is 10 out of 10 so far. So we're very fortunate to only really experience the best wines that he can source, including your wines, which again are really quite delicious. So when we go back to how you chose to work with the varieties you work with, what about Merlot, Cab Sauv, and Syrah, just as examples, pulled you in, that you chose them over, say, Cab Franc, Sangiovese, or other varieties that could have worked just as well with you? Are you attracted to those grapes in particular for any reasons?
Oh, yeah, there are some reasons behind it, because first of all, when I had taken over the business from my father, the vineyard had 120 hectares of Merlot, small quantities of Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc and the Negra, but small areas. I mean, 2 hectares, 5 hectares, so. Of course, I changed because it was very old, but I kept at that time I kept 10 hectares of Merlot planted in 1976, and when we look back in the 80s, in Dobroja, more than 60% of the grape was Merlot, and it was planted after studies and studies about the soil and the area, taking which grape is best, is more suitable for Dobroja, and Merlot was the chosen one. And I like that grape. I think that if you have a good vineyard, old enough vineyard, and you do not try to get the best ever harvest ever in quantity, you can get tremendous wines. Cabernet Sauvignon, it's the king actually, and you can get extraordinary results. It goes well with the Wild East. Inside the vineyard, it goes well with the Wild East, and actually I got the best results with the Cabernet Sauvignon. Also red and rosé. Shiraz is my first touch on Shiraz. I'm trying to use it for rosé, I told you, and but I think now I'm gonna use it for a blend with the Tuscany. And Shiraz, you can get a lighter rosé with a lighter color, and the Fitasca Negra gives a stronger rosé with a darker color. So I'm gonna use it as a blend in order to get the right, the desirable color. No, I like dark rosé. Going to rosado more, yeah, because they're suitable. You can do a better pairing in the restaurant, but the market is asking for lighter rosé, so I have to make adjustment to to the rosé. Not that I like it. You have to sell the wine after all. You cannot drink it all.
Absolutely. Are the 120 hectares all still under vine today?
Yes, they are all under vine today. They have Pétasque Negre, Cabernet Sauvignon, Fresh Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay. Uh, that's the main. But I also work in a vineyard that has Pétasque Regale, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay again. I'm surrounded by Chardonnay and Sauvignon.
It sounds awful.
No,
It's amazing.
actually it's quite great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
very good.
it's a dream for many people who will watch this.
Yeah,
Well,
it's very interesting because uh, I'm trying to get using wild list. It's gonna be different from area to area, from some hectares to other hectares. You know, I expect to feel small different aromas and small different touches in the wine. I hope I will get them. You know.
that brings up a very good point. Without getting too technical, but to touch on it is, since you have had the experience in pulling up some of the Merlot to make room for new plantings and expansions of the grapes that you wanted to work with, what is the process as far as choosing the right rootstock, and then of course choosing the right clone? Because as you've mentioned, you have a fair swath of area that you're planting, and so not every hillside is going to react the same way to the same clone. So is that something where you said that making good grapes is a lot of science and a little bit of luck, or
Yeah,
yeah?
it is a lot of science because you have to start with the soil. What kind of soil do you have? What kind of rootstock do you need for the soil? What are the what? How much does it rain during a year? And you need to get a rootstock that is adapted to. Uh, looking for the word now. Because it's not raining a lot in the project. Yeah, it's raining very little. So we, in my area, it's around 300 to 350 liters per square meters during a whole year. That's very little. Yeah, in other regions from Romania, the raining is about 600, 650 liters per square meters, total different double. So you have to choose very well the rootstock. And you get, talking about my vineyard now, you get sandy soil on one part and clay on 200 meters away. So you have to take that into consideration also when you plant. And you have to choose the rootstock. Talking about the clones now, the French have a very good catalog of the clones, and I have spent some nights reading the catalog and taking into consideration each clone and what can bring and what can I get out of it. And usually I use 3 clones. In a big area, I'm using 3 clones in order to get 3 types of wines and see if I can play with that and see which is better, which is not. I can't risk everything on only one clone.
So your blending goes beyond blending Cab with Merlot. It's also blending the different micro parcels of the
Yes,
3 different clones harvested perhaps at different times during the harvest season.
that's that's desirable. During the harvest period, it's nothing happens as you want. No, maybe a rain is coming, maybe the harvesting machine is broken, maybe the workers are not coming that day. You delay in fermenting and so on. And one of the biggest challenge for me this year is that deciding to go only on wild yeast, I had to redesign the whole process because I'm not fermenting the wine in 14 days. I'm fermenting the wine in 30 days. That's double. So that's why I'm making wines in my winery and I'm making wines in another winery. And I'm traveling between the wineries in order to be able to make the quantity that I want to make.
So in some regard, the choice to steer away from commercially cultured yeast is more time consuming and labor intensive.
Yes, but it's quite a challenge actually. We'll see, we'll see at the end of the October the results of the challenge, right? And you will see it next year, actually.
Yeah, so well, that's very exciting. We've been with you here just about 30 minutes, and I would love to ask you if there's anything you would like to share with us before we say goodbye.
No, just keep an eye on Romanian wine. Yeah, we're gonna make some nice wines this year, and we do think that the American market is very important for Romania, and we do feel that we are making progress on the American market, and we try to move forward and bring more wines. And Armand is doing his best to help us. Yeah, and we're trying to help Armand also to give him wines that he is proud of and he can sell it very easily. And I don't know, maybe we will see together next year.
Absolutely. We would love to have a visit from you here in the DC market. It would be an honor and a pleasure to introduce you and your wines more personally to the consumers here that already support your wines. And I thank you so much for your time and for your information shared today. It was a pleasure meeting you, Paul, and I hope again to see you in person one of these upcoming years. And I wish you the very best in your finishing of the harvest. So maybe you can wrap up your now 13-hour day that you had today and face another one.
I'm going to now. Yes, I'm going to now. Cheers.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
nice day. Bye-bye.
See you.